0.00. Like in HiSec, you have 0.1, 0.2, which is low-sec, and 0.5 to 1.0 with HiSec. You have exactly the same mirrored in Nullsec. So minus 1.0 is the best Nullsec space you can have, and minus 0.0 is the worst Nullsec space you can have. You basically have space which is better in Nullsec than other space, and this affects belt ratting. Thank you for recording. Rats in minus 1.00 space is better than the rats in minus 0.0 because the rats in minus 1.0.0 will be better, they have better bounties, you'll have a higher chance of getting faction and officer spawns, which I'll explain later. Yeah. There's an exception to this. Basically, all the regions which have a pirate NPC heart in them, like Fountain, like Delve, Venal, Curse, Stain, Purblind, etc., they're broken. I don't know if it's a bug or if it's a feature, but the entire space can be viewed as minus 1.00. So basically, if you're belt ratting in Fountain, every single system is the best system you can have. Yeah, it's always a feature, I know. Yes, Fountain. I'm speaking from the view of a test member in Fountain. Fountain is the space which is the region which test lives in. So, belt ratting is very simple. You warp into a belt, you kill everything, you warp to the next belt, you kill everything, and repeat 100 times. Now, sometimes you can find a special rat. It's a faction rat, and they'll have a for example, the rats in Fountain Space are called Serpentis rats. Sometimes you'll find a rat which is Shadow Serpentis, and the same goes for all the other rats in other regions. For example, you have Gurista rats, and then you can find Dread Gurista. Those are special rats. They'll drop faction drops, like mods like Webifiers or Sensor Boosters or whatever, and then those are pricey, and you can sell them for a lot of ISK. And there are also officer spawns, which are really, really, really pricey. And if you find one of them, you'll get a lot of ISK. Now, there's a lot of mysterious and superstition about officer and faction spawns. We don't know exactly how they work, but basically, you have the same chance of getting a faction and officer spawns in almost all systems, because they're so rare. Some people say that you can only get officer spawns below minus 0.75 true sec. We don't know if it's true because all of our space is minus 1.0. I told you earlier that Fountain can be viewed as the best space ever. Yeah, you can make a lot of ISK doing so because you will find a faction or officer spawn earlier or later, sooner or later. It's not the most efficient way to make ISK. It's mostly, if you don't find a faction or officer spawn, it's roughly 20 million per hour in a newbie battlecruiser, Hurricane or Drake. It's a way to make ISK. It's not the best. 20 million per hour. If you have questions, please ask. This is mostly question and answering. Okay, belt ratting, relatively simple. Now the next step of belt ratting is to rat anomalies. Anomalies are a site where you have waves where rats always spawn and in which you can calculate how much ISK you'll get. There are different anomalies. How do you get one? You take a ship scanner, you scan the space around you. Now it's 64 AU, I think. You warp to the anomaly and you kill every ship in there and you receive the bounty. Now anomalies spawn according to TrueSec. This is different from the broken TrueSec, which I spoke about with minus 1.00. That is only for belt ratting. Anomalies actually are not broken. Our space is the same as every other space in Nullsec. Basically, the best anomalies are in -1.0, the worst anomalies are in -0.0, and there's a list of different anomalies. I'm looking for a link, wait a second. Okay, for 10 different anomalies, the best ones are sanctum, then there's a haven, then are hubs, ports, and so on. You can look at it, you can find it in Google. And the sanctums and havens, they're always the same. They're different sanctums and havens, but they'll show up on your scanner simply as sanctum or haven. The other 8 anomalies, which are worse than haven and sanctum in terms of bounties, kind of modifiers in front of them, like forsaken, forlorn, hidden. And forlorn is more difficult than forsaken or hidden, and you'll make more ISK and have better bounties in there. Now, usually people usually people read sanctums or havens or forsaken hubs because they're the most efficient and you get the most ISK out of these. How much fight is over these anomalies belt rats? Um, Belt ratting, you almost have no fight. Because in every belt rat is the same in all of space. If you have fight, you just go to a system next door and you can rat again. And also belt ratting is more for newbies. There are better ways of making ISK. Belt ratting is like the first step of ratting. There's not a lot of competition. Anomalies, yeah. Anomalies, there is competition for the sanctums because CCP patched it so that only the good TrueSec systems from -0.85, I think, to -1.00 spawn sanctums. And the Alliance can upgrade those systems. Like, they literally can upgrade the system, like from level 1 to level 5. And the better upgraded the system is, the more sanctums and the more anomalies will spawn, including sanctums. Now, a sanctum is not necessarily the best thing to do, even though you get the most bounties out of it, because the rats are harder as well. I think the general consensus now is that you do Forsaken hubs, because they have no frigates, and most people rat in a Tengu or something like that, and they can just blitz through them, and scanning, you get a 100% result every time as soon if you're in range. You basically just click your ship scanner, click on scan, and you have all anomalies listed which are in the system if you're within 64 AU of them. The question was, how can we make an efficient scanning in the system, and how will we be able to understand what is listed as results after the scan? Yeah, anomalies are not found by probing. Anomalies are found with the ship scanner. I mean, you can probe them, but it's not really efficient. Okay. Now, at the end of each anomaly, you have a chance of getting a faction spawn. And all... Oh, yeah, I was talking about ship scanner, by the way. Well, you open the ship scanner, you scan, and you have all the anomalies listed. At the end of each anomaly, you have a small chance of getting a faction spawn. You also have a small chance of getting an escalation. An escalation will show up in your log, in your journal, under expeditions. And this will give you another site which you can do or sell, which will give you DED mods to drop. And if you get an escalation, you've basically hit jackpot because they're worth a lot of ISK. Now, That was anomalies. Any questions? Okay. Now there's complexing, running complexes. That's like the highest step of routing you can do in Nullsec. And how do you get a complex? Complexes are probed down with a probe scanner, probe launcher, and core scanner probes. You ideally use a ship. Yeah, thanks. You ideally use a ship to probe down the complexes, and use another ship to run them, because it's usually not great to have both the probe launcher on the ship you're running the anomaly with, the complex with. Oh man, I'm confusing them. Complexes are hard. You usually have to read up on them, what they do, what they spawn, what rooms they are, what you need to kill to get the next step of a complex. You usually do this by going to the wiki. For example, Test has a wiki, Goonswarm has a wiki. There's also a general wiki, I think, from ETH, like ETH wiki or something like that, or you simply ask other people who know about them. The rewards are very good. You can get up to like 1 billion ISK or something in mods or blueprints if you're lucky. And the nullsec anomalies are are 7. Like there's a I said anomalies again. Sorry. Okay, complexes have a rate of how hard they are. The hardest complex is rated 10 out of 10, and the easiest anomaly complex is 1 out of 10. Yeah, sorry. Nullsec only spawns 7, 8, 9, and 10 out of 10. There's a very useful link on how to find them. Okay, this link here for Serpentis space. Now, how this works is you use a deep core scanner probe, which has a very big range, and you fire a single probe, and you want, for example, you want to only run 7 out of 10s, or 8 out of 10s, or 10 out of 10s. And then you check how much the sensor strength is, and if it's above 0.14, you know that it can't possibly be a 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 out of 10. And then you know that this system has nothing which I want to do. So this is how you probe quickly. Now, if you find something, for example, you find something which has a strength of 0.07, it could possibly be an 8 out of 10 complex. It could also be something else, but then you know, oh, I need to scan this down. Now, you can see on the link I posted, the question is there a technique that doesn't involve probes I need Astromatics 5 for? Yes, you simply probe normally, it just takes longer with sister core scanner probes. You usually put one sister core scanner probe in the middle of a system, set it to the maximum range, look if there are any signatures. If there are, you take the smallest one and probe that down. And I mean, you only have to go above 25 or 50% to see if it's unknown. And if it's not unknown, then you know that you don't want it. Like if it's gravimetric, you know that it's 100% mining site, and mining sites are shit. Okay, now you can probe complexes down. You can also get no, you don't need a Sisters probe, but it's easier because it is a higher strength. Like if you don't use sister probes and don't use a Sisters launcher and do it in an unbonused ship, you most likely won't be able to scan down the hardest complexes, because even if you move them as close together as you can on your map, you won't hit 100% because it's simply not, you don't have enough strength. Using sister probes makes everything easier. Okay, now you can probe down complexes, but you can also get escalated complexes. I said earlier that you can, at the end of an anomaly, you can get the chance of escalation, and an escalation will give you a complex. Now, running complexes is hard. A Tengu can solo every single complex in Fountain except the 8 out of 10. If you're good skilled and you have good tank like Dead Space mods, etc., usually it's easier to sell your site to someone, for example in test, who runs both for you at a 50-50% split. You basically just go around, probe something down, sell it to the guy, probe the next thing down, sell it to the guy, and get some ISK, without actually needing to run the site. Probe down complexes can get stolen from you. Everyone can scan them down, and the rule in test is the first one with a combat chip in there gets it. Escalated complexes cannot be stolen from you. Work to it, and they can't probe your site down. They can only probe down with a combat probe. Now, escalated complexes you have to get to within 24 hours at least once. You don't need to finish it, you only need to work to a site to extend it another 24 hours. Probe down complexes despawn at downtime and respawn again. Speaking about downtime, the best time to do belt ratting or to run complexes is after downtime, because everything has reset, all the faction and officer spawns are there, you just need to find it. And complexes are fresh, and yeah. Complexes respawn after someone has done them, but you don't know where or when. Well, usually as soon as you finish it, but you don't know where. Okay, any questions about ratting? It can respawn in the same system, but the chance of it is very unlikely. In the complex anomalies, there are two types of spawning anomalies. Anomalies can spawn randomly, like you can get a sanctum in -0.0 TrueSec. The chance of it is not high. The chance of it is not high, and once you finish it, it won't respawn in the same system. It can, but it most likely won't. There are also anomalies which are generated by the pirate detection array. This is the upgrade I told you earlier about with the leveling of the system. Those anomalies respawn within a minute or two of free. So that's how you chain anomalies. You do a Forsaken Hub after another Forsaken Hub, and you do it 100 times. Okay, that was ratting. Onto salvaging. Salvaging is very noob friendly. You don't need a lot of skills for it, you just need to be able to use the salvaging module and have like salvaging free and a destroyer. Ships are given out free in test for free, they're very cheap. How does it work? You find a buddy who does anomalies or belts or complexes, and you clean up what he's left. Like you salvage all the wrecks, you scoop all the loot of those wrecks, and you sell it later on. Usually you can find someone who does this with you, or people, for example, Test has a channel which all redders put in, yeah, I have salvaged 2 sanctums here in this system and a hub in that system, and then the newbies can go salvage it. If you don't find someone, it's simple, you just go to the heavily rated systems, which you can find on Dotlan, and you just bookmark all the sites. And after an hour you come back, you warp to the sites and check if someone has run them, and usually if people rat, they don't salvage their loot afterwards. And then you just salvage and loot it. I expected more questions. Salvaging is not very profitable. Well, for a newbie it is, because it's the only thing he can do. Question is, how can I bookmark a location? Sorry, newbie, you right click on a wreck and make, yes, You right-click on a wreck and bookmark it, or you right-click on the location and your scanner and bookmark it. Or you go to People and Places, go to the Places tab, and click Add Location. Then it will add a bookmark on the spot where your ship is currently at. Can you put a probe launcher on any ship? Yes, you can, but it's usually suggested that you put it on a ship which is bonus to it, which gives you extra strength on your probes. What do you think? How dangerous it will be in the pocket? What do you mean with pocket? Pirate-wise. NPC space, security is not something which I'm talking in this lesson about, but usually you shouldn't rat in there. It's bad. Always hostiles around. How about the mining? I'll talk about mining later. You said Tengu can solo. How about the Legion? I think a Tengu is the only ship which can actually solo. Don't quote me on it, but usually people multi-box because it can't. A Tengu can't even solo everything. A Loki could. I don't know. Usually people just multi-box. Like a Legion is. I know people who use a Legion, but they also use a Tengu with them. A Legion is like they use the Legion as a Swiss Army knife, cap transfer and salvage and everything. What is the minimum ship size that you recommended? For belt ratting, any battlecruiser will do. For running anomalies, good tanked battlecruisers will do as well. If you're not going to tank them, like Forsaken Hub can be done by almost any battlecruiser. What about industry and production in Nullsec? I'll talk about that later. What starter ship fitting would you recommend for solo ratting a Drake? A Drake, yeah. A Drake can even run low complexes, which you can find sometimes. And a goodly tank Drake will be able to tank any anomaly and of course the build. Yep. Okay. For E-UNI specifically, rights to rat in outer space, you're restricted to the NPC Serpentis pocket. You shouldn't really rat in the NPC Serpentis pocket because it's just dangerous. I mean, even testes won't rat in there, and if we have a hostile in the system, we won't rat as well. And you're guaranteed to have hostiles in the same system with you. What you can do in NPC space though is missioning. You can run missions for the Angels and the Serpentis in the NPC pocket of Fountain. Their LP is very good. I think it's like 3 or 4,000 ISK per LP at the moment. Um, it's roughly the same as missioning in HiSec. You have level 1 to level 4. You don't have level 5. You blitz the level 4s for ISK. You need to grind the level 1 and level 2s and level 3s to get to level 4 standing. You shouldn't have problem with the standings because you haven't actually shot Serpentis, I think. Doing missions for this will kill our Empire standings, wouldn't it? Not really. I mean, if you shoot Minmatar's faction ships during a Serpentis mission, I think you will get a small hit on standings, but usually, I mean, no, not really. It's not something you need to worry about. Yeah, you need to have above minus 0.2 Serpentis faction standing to be able to accept anything higher than level 1 missions with them. There's only one guy who gives you the mission for level 1. There's only one guy who gives you the missions for level 2. There are no level 3s, and there are no level 4s. Oh, if you've missioned in HighSec, you probably will have low pirate faction standings. My Serpentis and Angel standings are -7 and -6. That's bad. You can't fix them by running a Cosmos mission. It's the Serpentis Cosmos mission is you deliver 50 gas to the agent and you get like 2.0 faction standing instantly or something like that. That won't be enough to fix standings from really low. You have to go through the Archangel's epic arc to fix your standing. Yep, yeah. The Angel epic arc will give you shared standings with Serpentis. Now, if you have bad Serpentis standing and you can do Angels, then Angels are in Serpentis Prime, Serpentis are in W White Tag. Yeah. Serpentis are better than Angels, but they're also more. They're not more difficult, but you'll get killed most likely. Because you're mostly not running in the same system which you get the mission in. You have to take a gate, and then suddenly you're gate camped. How much ISK should I have before coming to Nullsec? A lot is expensive, etc. Would you recommend a minimum? No. Like, you don't really 10 billion. No, you don't need a lot of ISK. You actually don't need any ISK at all. You can make ISK here if you're a newbie. It depends on what you want to do. If you just want to PvP, you just grab a Rifter for free and you just go and PvP. If you want to lose expensive ships, then you'll have to pay for yourself. You shouldn't really die. If you die, it's almost always your fault. The market is pricey here. It's like a 10, 20, 30% markup from Jitter. But I'll also talk about that later, doing market. Yeah, when you die, it's most likely your fault. Because you haven't watched at local and haven't read the intel. Just don't fly expensive ships. I mean, it's something we do. It's something testies do. They die a lot of times. Like, your ship is expendable. You can die a lot if you want to. We don't judge you for it. Is hauling viable or not recommended? Hauling with a ship is bad because it's like at least 20 jumps from any high sec to fountain, and you will die if you're not a. How was it called? I'm bad. Blockade runner? Yeah. Um, Usually you use a jump rate service. I think you can use Black Frog for NPC space. Test has their own services. It's like 300 ISK per cube meter. I don't. I think you can use them. Yeah, you're friendly with us. You can use them. Or you can also just go to the market and 6EDT. You have rights to our jump bridges, and you can use our market. Well, blockade runners are usually used to haul very expensive mods. Okay, any questions about missioning? It's really not difficult. You're just more likely to die. It's almost the same as high sec. Speaking about ISK, it's roughly if you blitz it and if you don't die, 100 million per hour, something around that. Okay, industry. Now, I know that a lot of you like mining, and Nullsec has the best ore. You can get 100 million ISK per hour with mining Arcaner, and it is good, but we don't like it. How mining works in Nullsec is that you don't mine in belts. You need to mine in a gravitational site, in a graph site, because when you mine in a belt, you're usually just you're most likely to die, because anyone can warp to the belt and just kill you. If you warp in a graph site, if you mine in a graph site, you have at least 30 more seconds until someone probes you down. Why is mining bad? Because the how do I say it? To run a big mining operation, you have a lot of hulks and a rockle to boost you, etc. And you can jam the system and you can bubble all the gates, but you will get killed sooner or later. Because it only takes a single person to shut your entire operation down if he AFKs in your system. And you can't just go into a system and start mining. You need to upgrade it. Like you need to mine a day in a belt. Then you get the system to level 1. And then you get your first gravitational site. And then you mine that. And then you get to level 2, and so on. And the higher you get with the level, the more likely hostiles are to notice, and the more likely are they to camp you. Yeah, you can't upgrade anyway. You shouldn't really mine an NPC's append to space. You'll die. But I'm speaking as a member of test. I mean, the mining index is visible. Like, people just look up, oh, the system is mining 5, there are a lot of miners, and I'll go AFK in that system for a week. And then people can't mine for a week. And if they think that they're smart and that they just mine because the system is jammed, and if you go to maps, I think you can see it. They think they're smart and they jam the system and they bubble all the gates. Suddenly, that guy who was AFK for 2 weeks, who hasn't said anything, who's not there at all, and you almost forget about him, he'll uncloak in your side and he will drop a covert Sino and you'll all die. And then you'll just give up on mining. Mining wasn't something which we did because it was, yeah, hot drop, because it was bad until like a month ago when the mineral speculation started with the removal of the drone alloys and drone space. So it's only become viable recently. Like until a month ago, the best ISK per hour you could get was 30 million per hour, and that's like bad. Also, mining is not really filling the needs for minerals from our industrialists. All the minerals will come from HiSec, they'll get compressed and shipped down here and uncompressed again. Mining will never fill the demand. So yeah. Any questions about mining? Okay, production. Production in Nullsec is okay. It's not really viable because almost all the production you can do here, you can do in HiSec as well, and it's safer there, and you have better access to the market, etc., etc., etc. I think the only thing which is really produced here is like tier 1 hulls, like tier 1 battleships, which are ammo, and obviously it's super capitals and capitals as well. It's better to do it in HiSec. Nothing more to say about that. You won't get a lot. You need to compete with people who are importing the stuff from Jitter, and the margin is not very high. If you want to produce efficiently, you'll need to have high skills anyway, like production efficiency 5, and if you want to do tier 2, all that as well, and it's just easier to do it in HiSec. The question is, back on missions, you said they were max level 2. Are the payouts greatly increased for pirate missions? Because level 2s are at even double the high-sec payouts would be per ISK per hour. No. What I said is that there are no level 3s. You just have to jump from level 2 to level 4. You just have to grind level 2 a little bit longer to get the standings until you can do level 4. And that is only for Serpentis Corporation, which is the best ISK you can get in the NPC pocket. There are level 3s for it, don't worry. It was just a random bit of information. Do you think Inferno will change the viability in null mining? Um, well, with the current mining in gravitational sites of minerals, I don't think so, because the problem still exists. A single guy can shut down your entire operation. You can't just move next door and start mining again. What we don't know is how ring mining will turn out, mining for moon minerals. That is entirely speculation. You'll probably need new mods as well. Also, in terms of ISK, the Inferno patch will make minerals more expensive, but they're already expensive. It went from 30 million per hour to 100 million per hour now, doing Arcaner. Question: salvaging is a big part of mission running. Does a Noctis last long out there, or is it attractive for PvPers out there? Um, salvaging is not really a big part of mission running here. You just blitz the missions for maximum ISK. If you have a alt who can salvage, sure. Does a Noctis last long enough? No. It's the same rules as everywhere. Anything that can kill you will try to kill you. If you're safe, if no hostiles are in local, sure, salvage. That's how normal salvaging works as well, like for newbies. But don't expect a Noctis to last if you're in a fight with anyone. If they catch you, you're dead. And yes, it's attractive for PvPers to catch a Noctis. Okay, planetary interaction, PI. Nullsec is unique for planetary interaction because the rate of extraction of the P0, which are the most basic materials you can get from PI, is so much better than in low-sec or null-sec. Like, you get triple the rate of low-sec and like 10 times the amount of high-sec. So extracting and combining that into higher PI goods is the most efficient down here. If you just want to buy a lot of P3, how do you compare to Wormhole PI? Wormhole is roughly a third better than Nullsec in terms of extraction. Like if Wormhole is 130%, then Nullsec is 100%, Lowsec is 30%, Highsec is 10%. So Wormhole PI is better. But Nullsec PI isn't bad. How this usually works is you just make P2 fossil, like mechanical parts, or you can make rocket fuel or something like that. You need about 2 weeks of skill training to get the skills to do it efficiently, like all skills at level 4 and remote sensing 3. You will have 5 planets to play with. 4 planets are for extracting, 2 planets for each P1 each, and your 5th planet will be the planet which factories everything together. And the perfect output is 2,400 P2 per day. And I don't know what current prices are, but that should be enough to pay you, well, not at the current prices, It should be like 250 million per month. But how safe it is to visit your planets to collect stuff? Um, you usually have all 5 planets in a single system, and the best thing is to have them in a station system as well. So as long as no one is waiting for you on the customs office, you're reasonably safe because you're either in docking range of the station, or you're in warp, or you're at zero of the coast and aligning to the next one also. It takes like 10 minutes to go around and collect all your stuff. As long as you read local and you read intel, like doing anything else in Nullsec, you always need to know where hostiles are and if you're safe. It is safe to collect stuff if you know what you're doing. If you're undocking and 20 hostiles are in local, no, it's not safe. PI is a viable way of making ISK not quickly, but steadily and passively for. And if you train all characters on your account to do PI, you can flex your account with PI on your own. But it's really, really boring because you'll have to be online at the same time every day because your cycles are 24-hour cycles. Now you can also do PI, like you buy a lot of P3 and react that into P4. You can do that in Nullsec, but it's better to do it in HighSec because the only advantage of Nullsec PI is the high extraction rate, and if you're not using it, you shouldn't really do it. Okay, moon mining. Now, moon mining is something special. You need to have roles in your corporation, POS roles. You need to anchor a POS, and you need to anchor a module which allows you to extract from the moon which you anchored your POS at. You'll get like 100 moon minerals per hour, and it's a passive ISK. You need to fuel the POS, you need to haul the stuff, but yeah. The most moons who are worth it are already taken. Like, you won't find the technetium moon which is free, forget that. Yeah. But the better ISK is in moon reacting. That is, taking moon materials and reacting them into higher moon materials, which are used in Tier 2 production. That needs a lot of liquid ISK to start with and to run it, but you also get a lot of ISK back. For example, if you were doing any carbide, like Fernite carbide or tungsten carbide or something like that, like I did Fernite carbide for myself, and the cash flow was roughly 3 billion per month, but you also got about 800 million to 1 billion per month. Okay, any questions about industry? Okay, incursions. Incursions, to talk today about incursions is really bad because everything will change tomorrow with the patch. Um, we used to run armor fleets and blitz vanguards in Nullsec. It was roughly 100 million per hour. You get 15 million ticks. Not ticks, but 15 million per site. And we usually did a site between 6 and 10 minutes. But everything is changing. Tomorrow the patch will hit. We're probably running shield fleet and do assault sites, basically 15 Tengus and 5 Bazis. It's the same as in HighSec. Okay, PvP. How do I make money from PvP? Um, Simple. You fly ships which are reimbursed better than you paid for it. For example, we want a lot of interdictors, so we pay you ISK if you lose interdictors. We pay you more than what interdictors are worth, for example. But that's not really that's something special for us. Um, it's not universal in all Nullsec alike. Now, the easiest way to make ISK from PvP is just to simply gank a Tengu which is blinked out to drop onto to hot drop a missioning material or something like that, um, or to suicide freighters. I mean, something like that. Shoot something shiny, collect the mods, and sell them. PvP is usually you're losing out of ISK. You're not losing a lot because you still get reimbursed, but you won't get reimbursed fully. Question: You pay interdictors means Test Alliance pays for it, and if so, do you require us to place bubbles at certain locations? Um, no, it's just every ship in the fleet doctrine. If you fly the correct ship with the correct fittings, you will get money back if you lose it, so that you're encouraged to PvP. Um, the rate is oftentimes about 90% of jitter. So, for example, if you fly a Maelstrom, and you lose it, you'll get a couple 100 million back. I can look it up if you want to. Yeah, that's it if you're in test. Also, if you're in Goonswarm. If you're in an alliance which doesn't reimburse you, you should get out, because it's usually a bad alliance. Now, because we have a shortage on interdictors or logistics, um, we pay you even more, or 100% or more of jitter, or we do you lose an interdictor, you get an interdictor back. You simply link us the lost mail, and you'll get another interdictor contracted to you, um, because we need more of them, and we can afford to pay you more than what they are worth. Yeah. The easiest way is to just buddy up with someone and kill a Macarial or kill a Tengu or something. No, your leadership didn't want us to fly with you. You're on your own. We won't form fleets together, and we won't help you out in fleets. We wanted to, but your leadership didn't want to. Remember, I'm speaking from the perspective of a member in test and not as a member in E-UNI. But even if you're in the E-UNI, you can, for example, there are entities and NPCs of Pantis space in the pocket where you will be in, which are running missions. Like, they did the same thing. They are running missions all day long and blinked out Macarials, and you can drop that, and you can kill them, and get some shiny mods. If we befriend people from test, and are we allowed to fleet up with them for fun, or not even that? You're not allowed to. It's against your policy or something like that. You're basically entirely on your own. We simply just provide the venue, provide the market, and everything else is up to you. Okay, speaking about the market. Market is a nice way of making ISK. It's probably the most, well, not efficient, but you can potentially get the most ISK out of it. Nullsec market is simple. You either build, which I talked about earlier about production, which you shouldn't do really, except if you're doing like ammo or tier 1 battleship, something like that. You most likely import stuff from Jitta, sell it here at a markup. Or you find something which is really cheap here and you export it to Jitta and sell that. It's really easy. There is a website which we use to determine what is missing on our market. I can link you to. For example, this is a website which Goonswarm built. It currently has the Goonswarm market, our test market, and market which we were deployed in. And it scans ETH. You run the scanner, you upload all the market data, and it will tell you what to import, where you get the most markup or the most profit. That's something which we do. Um, it's made easier for us to import stuff, but it's also made the competition a lot worse. Like ETH Central, yeah, but specifically for our market in comparison to Jitter. Now, that is a nullsec. I mean, you can make a lot of ISK playing the market in Jitter as well. It's probably the best way of making ISK. For example, if you're a member in Test or in Goonswarm, you're on a lot of external services like Jabber or IRC, something like that. So you can get notified if shit is going down, like, oh, Supercaps attacked, friendly or hostile, or you need to do this, or you need to log in, or this is happening right now, log in, something like that. This can apply to the market as well. If changes are coming, if you need to get in and buy stuff right now. For example, we had this book. It was a role-playing book called Pax Ameria. Pax Ameria. Now, it's a book. It's nothing special. What is special about this book is that you used to be able to refine it. And what came out of it were 6 units of Noxium and 2 units of Isogen. And this book was seeded from NPCs on the market for like 2,800 ISK or something, which, when you refined it down, made Noxium capped at about 550 ISK. When you look at the price now, Noxium is about 1,000. So when someone found out about this and posted it publicly on the forums, and we saw it, we told everyone to log in and buy this book as much as you can and refine it. The next day, CCP removed the book and the price of Noxium doubled in a day. So you can literally just double your entire net worth. And the price will still go up because the patch is happening tomorrow and the minerals will get removed from drone space. Yeah. I personally expect Noxium to go to like 1.5. Yeah. Also the same with Sidrine. When the notes of this new Sissy build were posted onto Pastebin, and that was posted as well onto other forums, and when we noticed it, we told everyone to log in and buy Sidrine. And that was at 900 ISK, and now Sidrine is at 1.7, 1.8, and will probably go up to 3,000. So you make a lot of it. Like with every patch, there is something which you can speculate on and make a lot of ISK. But to make a lot of ISK, you also need to have a lot of ISK to invest with. So it's not really something you can do as a newbie. I mean, you can probably still buy Noxium and Sidrin today, but you won't make double the profit. You will still make profit, but not a lot. Most market is from importing, exporting, picking up cheap contracts, or from buying plexus, which people still buy in Nullsec, which is really idiotic because you can apply plexus from everywhere. There is someone in our alliance, for example, he has alts in almost every region, and he just simply buys plexus whenever someone posts a plex in a region which is at the ass end of nowhere, and he just contracts that to someone who needs a plex at a cheaper price than Jitter, and still make something like that. Just buy low, sell high, simple stuff. Okay. Um, that was mostly what you can do in Nullsec for ISK. Someone yesterday told me that I should do a small part about scamming. Scamming is also something which you can make a lot of ISK with. Like, I made like 90% of my net worth with scamming. You can do recruitment scams or rental scams or like any sort of scam you can think of. If you're part of a Nullsec alliance, it's easier to do the recruitment scam or rental scam. You just make an alt, say you're a director and you have this system to rent, or um, to join. Yeah, don't. Yeah, you're probably not allowed to do it in E-UNI. You're all honorable and things like that. But we are allowed to scam anyone who is not friendly with us. There are rules about it. Like, for example, I can't scam on my main character because I'm a diplomat and diplomats are not allowed to. Otherwise, we wouldn't trust each other, or we couldn't do any diplomatic stuff if you didn't know if he was telling the truth or if he was trying to rip me off. But I can on my alt. And if you have questions about it, you can ask me, but I don't know. Okay, then I am finished with my part of the lecture. Um, I have nothing more on my sheet. So now we go to I live in Nullsec, ask me anything. Post questions about anything. Question: how do loans work and how you make money that way? Um, Loans are based on trust or on collateral. Um, there is no official way of doing it. CCP removed the feature of loaning from the contracts. You can do it. You can just tell someone, hey, I need 1 billion ISK. You can have my Tango for it, which is worth 1.2 billion, and I will give you 1.2 billion back in a month. And if I don't, just keep my Tango, something like that. If you need quick liquid ISK, um, you can probably do uncollateralized loans from ETH forums, but only small amounts. Long-term loans, you can do that as well. Like, for example, if you're well known in the community, if you're like a member of Test for a year, you post a lot of the forums, people know you, and you need a lot of ISK for doing some stuff. You can post on the forums and just simply go with trust. For example, we had a guy who was like a hardcore miner who had 15 accounts and hulks and brockles and everything, and he stopped mining because mining was shit. And he started doing tier 1 production and tier 1 production only, and he needed a lot of ISK, and he raised like 150 billion or something, and he's now doing capital production. He's producing most of the tier 1 market for Test Alliance. He's also building supercaps. Yeah, like I ordered my capital with him. It's coming probably in the next few days. Um, you you've been living in Nullsec since week 1. What made you take this decision? Um, it's relatively simple. I joined ETH because I saw a video about I don't really remember, but it was something about like this big scam or that awesome fight or so many ISK destroyed, which was like this couple $1,000. Um, you don't I don't join ETH to mission a lot or to grind missions in highsec or to grind incursions. I play ETH because I want to have fun and uh, because Nullsec is the place where you can write your own story, where nothing is prohibited, where everything goes. Um, you get the most ist out here. You socialize a lot. Like I know most of the people who are in local right now, and we don't only play EVE together. We play other games as well. I join as a person and not as a character. Can I have your stuff, please? No. So, being that new to Nullsec, would you say that doing PI and missioning would be the most viable route to take? Um, you can make ISK however you want to. PI is something which you can try out. I'll tell you to try out everything because you can't possibly know what you like or what you want to do. I've tried out everything, almost everything, and I stopped doing this or that after a month. I mean, you think PI is great and all, and if you look at the numbers, it's really good ISK, but you can't possibly imagine how shitty it is to log in every day at the same time to do the same action over and over again, even if it's only for 10 minutes. I couldn't take it. Missioning, it's dangerous. Ratting, as a newbie, the salvaging is the best way of making ISK. And once you're in a battlecruiser, you can rat. That's the usual way of making ISK in Nullsec. And once you're higher up, you can go do incursions or go into a wormhole part. Like Test has a wormhole corporation. We can run wormholes. Um, you can play the market. You can do everything, whatever you want. Can we buy capitals from Test? No. And if someone tells you otherwise, you're being scammed. Actually, I don't know. You're currently friendly with us. You could probably buy one, but as soon as you're not friendly anymore, you can't. Question. I am just curious about how can I survive with such a low ISK in the hand and no friends in the game except my friends in E-UNI at the moment. And I think Nullsec Corps do not accept newbies as well. So is it wise to go and play bait there alone? Nullsec Corps do accept a lot of newbies. Test is like 50% newbie, like at least. Goonswarm as well. We like newbies. We take newbies who are here on the day one and who pot jump down here and can't even fly a rifter, and on the next day they can fly a rifter and low ISK. If you just want PvP, you take free ships which Alliance can give you, and free tackling frigates and free salvaging thrashers and stuff like that. But you won't be able to fly anything more expensive. You need to be able to support yourself, which you can do. That's not true. The class from yesterday says we can if we got permission. What permission? What are you talking about?
Yeah, it works. There was something about in the class I read. I listened to the recordings, and they said you can bring capitals, but you need permission.
We can bring carriers, yeah.
Ah, okay. I don't know if you can do that. We don't care. So we don't need to pay to get into Test like I saw Edward and Jetta. No, you need to like read our alliance description. There, I posted a dot. You can click on my corp and then click on the alliance, and it says if someone tells you it costs money to get in, you're being scammed and you deserve it for not reading this. I mean, scamming. We're really good at scamming. We have websites set up that are exactly like our website, but which are fake. They tell you to register and give you the API, and you think it's all well, and then we read what assets you have and how much money you have, and then we tell you, oh no, you don't need a security deposit, it's all fine, you're in, courier contract us your stuff so we can jump freighter it down to Nullsec. No contract, and ooh, suddenly all your stuff is gone. Almost anything in Jita Local is a scam. Question: for Onion noobs based in the Fountains of Panda's Pocket, is there any way to do ratting safely? No. No, not really. You are most likely to have hostiles in the same system with you. If there are hostiles in the system, you're not safe. Which corp do you think joining would be a good idea in Test Alliance when a player decides to do so after graduating from E-UNI? There are at least two test corps which came from E-UNI. It's EADS, aeronautic something something, forgot, and PonyWaf, PWWN, you can probably apply there. So what makes the difference to scam a newbie versus honestly taking a newbie? No, it's not random. Most likely, for example, Test has a lot of different corporations, and most of those corporation recruitments is closed. They're not open to the ETH public. For example, Reddit, which is like the largest corporation in ETH, only recruits from a website called reddit.com. Or there's another corp which only recruits from that website. For example, Goonswarm is from somethingawful.com. And there are other corporations which just do recruit friendlies or in real life friends, something like that. You don't really know if it's honest or not. If you're curious, ask an official diplomat or the leader. They're usually required to tell you it's a scam. Like if you convo me and you tell me there's this corp and they want money for you to get in, I will tell you it's a scam because I'm not allowed to lie to you to do so. If you have doubts, just usually convo someone from higher up. And don't let your recruiter say that you're dragging someone from higher up into the channel, because usually an alt with fake titles and a fake bio. Go through the alliance description. Usually the alliance description does not lie. The corp description will lie to you, the alliance description will not. I think PonyWolf recruitment is by vouch only at the moment, so you'll need to have friends which you've made in E-UNI who've joined PonyWolf who can vouch for you to also join.
If you don't mind, I'm the recruitment director for PonyWolf. It is vouch only, but it's easy to get a vouch. You just need to become known to us as a corporation through like our public channels and coming into, to talk to us and stuff like that. So just make a friend in the corp and you can get a vouch pretty much.
So if you're a spy, you know where to get in. Yeah, spies. Well, we all know that we have spies. We also have spies in other alliances. It's like not a secret. We manage.
Do you have a spy in the uni?
All I can say is I know people in my corp who have alts in the uni, so yes.
There are always spies. Always spies in the uni on every channel.
How big is the graduate medal when recruiting E-UNI members? Is it a big plus or not really looked at? For test, we don't care. Like, we will even recruit you if you're a member. For example, Reddit. Reddit recruits people from Reddit who want to play ETH. Like, you can literally be your first minute in the game and you will get into Test Alliance because you're a member of our culture from this website. If you're a ETH player who just wants to get into Test, then I don't know. It depends on the alliance you're recruiting at. Like, if it's some elite PvP alliance, then I'm sure that they want to look at what you have skilled or your kill board or whatever. Test does not do that usually. Like, the it's different for each corp. Any other questions? Yeah, most corps, like, if you go to Dotlan and see how many corps tests have, almost all corps which are below 70 members are personal alt corporations. They're not really corps. They're just there to do stuff, to produce or to scam with or something. Yeah, because the way CCP has modeled the game for corporations and bosses, it's really not safe to share roles. You need to make a separate corporation to do stuff safe for industry. Yeah. Also, of course, some corps, I don't know if it's most corps and tests don't allow recruitment scamming actually. Like, if you see a member of Dreaded try to recruitment scam you, you should report it because it's not allowed. So we have corps for your alt to join so you can scam. You will never ever see someone from Dreaded try to recruitment scam you because it's forbidden, and if they do, tell us. They will try to rental scam you or to do contract scams with you or any other scam, just not recruitment scamming. Yeah, I mean, no one wants to scam their target recruitment guy, people, whatever. I think, yeah, Pony definitely scam, but think they're banned doing it from the UNI. I don't know.
Yeah, we have a corp rule that you're not allowed to do it from E-UNI.
Yeah, same thing goes for Reddit. We can't allow a scam from Reddit.com. Do you guys try scamming your corpies as well or allies? No, fuck. Blues are blues. Like, we won't scam you right now because you're blue, and we won't try to kill you. You're basically our friends, our allies. We're friendly. You don't need to fear us in any sense. Uncle Donald, shit, my internet just died when you were answering my question. The question was, how big is the graded medal when recruiting E-UNI members? Is it a big plus or not really looked at? It depends on the corp. Usually, it's not really helpful. Because if you don't know about EVE, we'll teach you. Some corps require it, I don't know.
For Ponywolf and for Enly, it's a bonus, but when I'm looking at someone who I might recruit, I'm looking more at how active they've been in PvP and whether they've been actively trying to get involved in things like the Lowsec camp or the Nullsec camp while they've been in the uni, and I go from that rather than a medal.
But that's exactly what scammers would say. I don't know. As long as you're paying to get in, or if you're contracting someone your stuff, even if it's a cargo contract, it's probably a scam. Just use common sense. I mean, there are so many scams out there. I know most likely all of them. Just don't do retarded stuff. Well, as far as I know, it's not as easy to get into test. They want you to be an active member of Reddit for 4 months. At least that's what it says on the application form. Yes, if you want to become a member of the Reddit Corporation, you need to be an active member of Reddit for 4 months. Because Reddit recruits Redditors, people from the website, reddit.com, who also play EVE. Not the other way around. We don't recruit people who play EVE and then make a Reddit account to be able to get into Reddit. That's not what we want to. We want to make sure that you're actually involved with Reddit.com and involved with our culture so that we have a similar background. That's only for Reddit. Other corps have other recruitment. So I jump in a ship and come to Fountain and not get shoot by Test if E-UNI would allow it to go there. Yes, that's correct. Test will not shoot you. Everything else will. And it depends. Like if you're in a Rifter, in a very remote system, a fountain, with my Tengu, and you're flying towards me, I'll probably shoot you. Be there. I mean, it's not really hard to get into E-UNI, except you need to wait for like a month. So we do trust you guys, but don't try to, how do you say it? Don't stretch the limits too much. Yeah, don't push your luck. Like, don't aggress testes, don't tackle them, or just don't be suspicious. We will reimburse you if you get shot at. If we perform well in our Nullsec camp, does that give us a higher chance of being recruited into test? Well, you'll have a good PvP experience, and your killboard will look good, and you'll seem to be involved with Eve, and it's probably going to better up the chances. It just makes you seem active. But
yeah, for my cup, yes, it would make you look a better candidate to join if you're very active in PvPing and getting involved in the nullsec camp and stuff.
yeah, for all other corps, probably not. Like, we don't care. We recruit you as a person and not like the char or your skill. Like, we just want someone else to play with, to have fun with.
Yeah, the main thing I'm looking for is that you're going to be active. I don't want someone who's going to come in and just sit in anoms all day and do nothing with the corporal, with the alliance. I'm looking for someone who, obviously wants to actually get involved and do stuff out here. You know what I mean?
You can also try to. Okay, that's a bad way of saying it. But if you make a corporation and your corporation is great, you're very active and you're awesome, then you can try to join test as a corporation as well. Which is very unlikely, but it's possible.
We did it.
You guys did it. Question: I have purchased my toon 5 weeks ago and my fourth day in E-UNI. I got into 2 kills on my first PvP, but the previous PvP ex-owner had seemed to be sucky. How can I get my reputations a means of PvP positive then? Just say that you bought the toon. And don't say toon. Like, say character. I mean, usually the recruitment program, like the API checker, will cross-check character sales, and if recruiters do not do that, then they're shitty. They will see that you bought the character, and I mean, you're not responsible for stuff which you didn't do. They can also sort for months. Like, if you've been shitty before February, and you've been awesome since February, and you bought the character in February, no one will look what was before February. And how did you have enough ISK to buy a character 5 weeks ago? Ah, right. Yeah, that's the most efficient way of making ISK. You simply buy a Plex. Like, if you think of how much time you'll spend on the game versus how much time you'll need to spend to work, mostly it's more efficient to just buy a Plex. Like, if you value your time, buy a Plex. But don't ever undock with Plex in your cargo hold. Never ever. Yep. You can ask me anything else, not only about money making. I can answer almost anything. If you have something interesting to ask, then do so. Yeah, that's a really bad idea. So mere blinkers is really, really bad. How can we get the ships we own in Highsec to Nullsec? You use a jump freighter service, but it's most likely better to just sell the ships and buy them down here again. That's also a good way of scamming people. Just tell them, hey, we will move your stuff for free. Cargo contract it to that guy and use that description and set it to so and so, and oh, make sure to use no collateral. Question: does your market have stuff like Corelli A-type explosive plating? What a shitty question. I'll look it. No, we don't have it. You buy it in Jitter and import it. It takes like a day. Also, why would anyone use that? Oh, actually, it's not a bad mod. If a pod blows up in an unoccupied system, does it make a sound? Eve has no sound. Cause I'm a noob and that's all I can fit on my wolf. Well, if you have ISK, just, I don't know. Generally, when you come join us in Serpentis NPC Pocket, just try to have some fun in PvP a lot. Like, don't try to make ISK efficiently down here. Making ISK in the NPC space is usually only done by missioning, and you will have well, it depends on how many of you guys are here, but it's not really safe. Just enjoy yourself and PvP. Are there any solar systems except than the ones we see on the map? Depends which map. Who would one apply to if they were interested in joining tests when they leave the E-UNI? Is there a website to like the API, etc.? You join a corporation, which is a member of test. You can't join test if you're not a corp. If you want to join like Ponywolf, speak with a Ponywolf recruitment dude. They won't scam you because you're a uni. Or speak with any corporation you're interested in and make sure you don't get scammed.
We do have a thread on the uni forums for recruitment, so just look at that. It should explain everything.
I've got a question for you guys. What do you want to do in Nullsec when you're down here in the Serpentis space?
Blow stuff up?
Yeah, that's exactly what you should do. Don't try to make money, just blow stuff up. You can literally buy like a couple hundred rifters with, no you can't, but just PvP and expensive ships. Well, if you have the ISK, then do so. I think there are some other lessons on surviving in Nullsec or generally like that. You can join those too. I want to get doomsdayed by a Titan. Are you sitting in a carrier or a dreadnought or something like that?
Yeah, they can't hit subcaps anymore. You need a carrier.
A Titan can't doomsday subcapitals. You need to be in a capital to get doomsday. And it's not really that special. Although, true story, I've never seen a doomsday before. Like every time someone doomsdays, I'm already dead, potted, or I just warped off grid, or I just warping on grid. Like, it's a bane. I can probably tell a friendly Titan guy in my corp to doomsday me, but then I'll be losing like 1.3 billion just on the hull. It's not really worth it. Do you have corps with different languages? As I see you're German, like your corp is looking for a specific language. If you're joining TEST, you need to be able to speak English and understand English, because that's what our communication is, like our fleets, our forums, and everything. There are nationality corps in TEST and TEST Friends. Like, we recently acquired an Italian corp. There are several German corps in TEST. Like, for example, Handley I has a lot of German dudes. There are a lot of new corps.
I think you mixed up Enli and Ead. Ead's is the German corp. Enli is the other one that started from E-UNI.
Oh, right. Yeah. There are also a couple of a lot of German corps in Test Friends as well. Test Friends is a sister alliance of Test Alliance. It's for corps which want to join Test, which are not in Test yet, which are on a probation period. There are a lot of ex-UPS. I don't know if you know them. It's United Bot Service. It's an alliance which is dead now, which was mostly German, and a lot of those corps joined us recently. You can try to apply there. You'll probably get in. Be a good spy. What is asked from a corp to be member of test? Activity. Be big. Like, if you're below 50 members, you'll get most likely insta-rejected. Don't have a shitty killboard, like really shit. There are no real hard requirements. You need to be able to fit in and integrate, and that's basically it. Why is being part of Reddit such a huge part? Because the main corporation of test is Reddit corporation for people who are part of Reddit. Reddit is a social media website, like, there are no alternatives. It's the best one. But if you want to join Reddit, be active on Reddit. Simple. Any up? What ships would you recommend for PvP? Depends what you're flying. There are different doctrines, like we use Alpha Fleet, which are basically maelstroms and scimitars into support, or shield fleet, which are like drakes. We also use A-heads and bombers and everything. You'll be welcome in any fleet with a rifter. As long you can fly literally anything. I mean, if it's bad, people will laugh at you, but they won't kick you from fleet because even if you're just flying the wrongest ship ever, you'll still be like a tank. Like every DPS applied to you is not applied to the members who are actually helpful. You're like cannon fodder. If you don't want reimbursement, you can fly whatever you want. If you want to have fun and if you want to explode a lot, fly a Rifter. Are all fellow corps within test friendly to one another more than just not shooting each other? Well, we have a lot of internal drama, which is also what makes us unique. Not we like drama. Like we have this running gag, which is probably true, that Anli I is really bad at the game, and they all suck, and that everyone who's bad at the game should apply to Anli I. We are friendly with each other, and also more than shooting each other. Not shooting each other. Like if you're a member of Test, you're most likely running with the Alliance instead of doing corp stuff. There was a lesson on this like 2 days ago. If you're part of an alliance, you're giving up some of your sovereignty. You're mostly doing alliance level fleets, alliance level operations, and have friends within the alliance, not within the corp. If we beat you guys in EK Soccer, does that narrow down my chances of being accepted? I don't even know what EK Soccer is. So you prefer shield to armor in your fleets? Well, if we're running shield fleet, then we want shield people. And if we're running armor fleet, then we like armor. Most of test is shield fleet at the moment, because that's what the flavor of the month was, like drakes, 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 and then later on hurricanes, and then maelstroms and whatever, but we also use armor hex. We have a lot of armor hex right now. Oh, Euro Championships, yeah, the Dutch will never win, you suck. I mean, we have a lot of doctrines. Like we're so large, we're like 6,000 people in an alliance, like another 1,000 in test friends. We're so large, we can literally fly any doctrine, and we will find people who fly it. And we also like don't use superior tactics. Really, we just overwhelm them. Like they field 100 ships, we field 500. Simple. Where can we reach the list of the ex-Unistas now member of Reddit who can recommend us when applying? There is no such thing. And if you ask people to recommend for you, and they don't know you, then you'll most likely get blacklisted from us. So don't do that. To recommend is actually like for in real life friends or people who like really know each other. It's for bringing you a spouse in or your brother or something like that, or a colleague. Like if we know that you're paying someone, or if you're just spamming people with "Hey, can I get a recommendation?" then we'll blacklist you. And the blacklist is not only from tests, but for all CFC corps. Yes, apply on your own is the best method. Any other questions? You can ask me anything.
Oh, do you got any nice fittings? Or can we check on your site for things?
I actually don't know if you have access to our wiki, but Test Alliance has a wiki with fits. Goonswarm has a wiki with fits. I don't know if you have access. I don't think so.
I've got access to your forums for the Nullsec camp and everything, and I am going to be helping you guys out with that kind of stuff. I've already spoken to Gibson about that.
Oh, awesome. Hey, thank you guys for the class. You also, Pony Waffle. I don't know your name. It went too fast.
Me. What do you think about Burn Jitter and Hulkageddon? We like it. I will participate. I will go to minus 10.10. We have like several thousand tornadoes and thrashers. Like I think we have close to 10,000 thrashers produced. We have a couple thousand Seabos and stuff. Like we will burn stuff to the ground. And Hulkageddon is also comes directly afterwards, I think.
Yep.
Is Test ever thinking of expanding, taking over all ETH space?
If you
I
take
can't.
over everything, you
I
don't
can't
really
tell you
have to
about that. It's OffSec. You will know within a month. One more question. Do you guys have like a minimum standing from members of your alliance? What do you mean?
Well, some people, they, like E-UNI, have to be above 0.0, and some members of other corporations want you to be above like 0.2 negative because
No.
you can travel.
No one cares about your security standing in Nullsec because it's worthless.
I'm a director and I'm like minus 9.8 on my main.
Like,
No, nobody gives a shit.
you usually juggle between 10 and minus 10, because 10 you'll get when you rat a lot, and minus 10 you'll get when you burn down all your security standing on some fun and tiers and highsec, and then you rat back up again, and no one cares about it. You're in Nullsec.
Okay, well, I'm back to low sec. Thank you thank you guys for the questions again, the answers.
Yeah, thanks for doing the class and taking all the questions.
Alright. Then I'm wrapping this up. If you have more questions, you can just email me. Or if you want official business with a diplomat, you can also email me. I've started up again, and thanks for attending.